Hi, Analisa Six here with the Lady of Leisure and the Sober Curator to bring you the August 2023 horoscope for the Sun and Rising sign of Virgo. Rising Sun sign placements, Virgo. I am doing so much better today than I was the last couple of days. I tried to do horoscopes yesterday. I got to Leo, and then my body said, nope, not going to do it. And I am currently on a cleanse, which feels very Virgo. Virgo rules the digestive system and the area of the chart that has to do with our health and kind of health regimens, those types of things. And I haven't been on this cleanse since January, and I feel like it's definitely helping in certain ways. It doesn't get rid of everything that I have going on, but I feel like more energy this morning than I felt the last few days. So I'm hoping that I can get through all of these videos today in a more positive space. And I'm still going to try to keep them short just for my own self, but I'm excited to jump in and talk about August for you, Virgo. So because of my health stuff, I'm a little late to getting August going. So it's already August 9th, the day that I'm recording this, but we're going to go backtrack a little bit to August 1st and just talk about the way we started the month out and then just some of the highlights and themes for you. I'm going to try to keep it pretty brief. Normally these videos are like 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to try to stick to 10 minutes today for everybody. I think that that's enough. And I will say that I did an astrology forecast video at the beginning of the month that goes over each individual transit for each week, each day. Well, not each day, but the big transits for each week. And so if you want a more in-depth breakdown of the transits, I recommend you watching my astrology forecast video for August. All right, Virgo. So we started out August 1st with a full moon in the sign of Aquarius that hit at 9 degrees of Aquarius. And the area that this hit for the Virgo horoscope is the area that Virgo actually traditionally rules. So it's the area that has to do with our health, wellness, daily routine, also how we're of service to people. And so with the full moon here, wherever the full moon is hitting is where it's bringing awareness, illumination, light, to that area. And so those themes come up for you starting off the month. And full moons are a time where we can set intentions towards manifesting things that we want to manifest into our lives, or it's a time where we can focus on cutting cords, releasing, letting something go. So a few themes that were dominant for the full moon on the 1st for Virgo were, your health. If there was more of a daily routine that's supportive of your mental, physical, emotional health that you feel like you really needed to put into motion, and that was kind of your intention starting out the month, that would have been, in alignment with where the full moon was. On the flip side, if there's any habits like with your eating or your exercise routine or lack thereof in terms of exercise routine, if you're feeling like you've been neglecting your health in ways and you want to release or let go of unhealthy patterns or, kind of unhealthy routines that maybe you have, the full moon would have been a good time to set intentions towards that as well. A couple other things that we started August with as well is Mercury and Mars in your sign. So we have Mercury and Mars both in Virgo, and they are passing through the area of the chart that has to do with your sense of self and your identity. So if you've been in a position at all where you've been reflecting on who you are, who you want to be, how you want to cultivate more of a sense of alignment or fulfillment within who you are, your identity, how you're putting yourself out there. The Mercury and Mars placement here is can be a big part of why you're feeling those things or thinking that way. Virgo too tends to enjoy having a way of coming off or expressing themselves that's very put together or organized. And so if that's something that you feel like you need to work on in your life in terms of your sense of self, you want to get more organized, more put together, that's also a big theme. Another thing that can happen with Mars and Mercury here is that you might be more prone to headaches or feeling maybe not as good in the head. And so head injuries with Mars passing through here too. So those are things that you want to be kind of mindful of because, at the beginning of the month, having that full moon illuminating your health the headaches, if you're having them, if you're a Virgo having any kind of nervous system headache kind of issue, or, digestive. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time saying that word. Digestive. If you're having any of those kinds of correlations, those are things to kind of be mindful of. Because also, I think that, I just realized this is so funny. I love it when this happens, when I'm like kind of intuiting like certain chart stuff, and then I think of a Virgo in my life, and I'm like, oh, this actually happened to this Virgo while this was happening. My mom is a Virgo. If you're watching this, hi mom. And she actually did get a head injury and a face injury. Oh my God, I just realized that. That's crazy. She's not Virgo rising either. I would think that would be more relevant for Virgo rising than Virgo sun because of the way horoscopes are calculated, but I'm kind of laughing about that. She's okay, don't worry. But she was having a lot of fun in her swimming pool and accidentally bonked her nose really hard and had a scratch on her nose from it. And it made me worried about her because, moms need to be careful. Anyways, very interesting. But yeah, so it's important that you're careful when Mars is passing through this area in terms of the noggin, and also with the full moon illuminating that other area of, health, wellness, health regimens, digestion. You might be reflecting on ways that you can eat better, things like that. I think too, Mars with Mercury in this area can also lead to maybe a little bit more irritability or a need for some alone time. You might feel like more self-oriented and like you need to focus more on your needs versus other people's needs. That could also be a theme that comes up here as well. Feeling a need to be more self-oriented. We also let's keep talking about Mercury and Mars for a little bit because we're going to get into some of the other planets. But I just want to mention that Mercury is going to be in Virgo in your sign in this area for the entire month of August. And then Virgo season starts on August 23rd. So happy birthday to all the August Virgos. And the same day that we enter Virgo season on the 23rd, Mercury is actually going to be stationing at 21 degrees of Virgo retrograde. So it's going to station retrograde and it'll be retrograde until the middle of September. We enter the Mercury retrograde shadow in Virgo on August 15th. So just make note that if you're feeling like you need to change something about the way that you look, or you're feeling like you're in conflict with your identity or sense of self, that could be a theme for you during this Mercury retrograde cycle because of the area that it's hitting in the chart that has to do with identity or relationship to self. And Mercury, in Virgo, it rules Virgo. It's in domicile. So it's a good placement for Virgo or for Mercury because it's in one of its home signs. But it's still in that analytical place of reflect, review, reassess when it's stationed retrograde. And so you're still kind of in this place where even though it might feel good and kind of, you have the juices of yourself kind of moving, when it's retrograde, we might be overthinking or overanalyzing things about ourselves that we wish to change or evolve. That can sometimes be too much for us. And so it's important that you find ways to kind of take a break from that and also get grounded and just present and kind of enjoy aspects of your life that aren't so self-oriented or thinking about what needs to change about yourself or what needs to get organized necessarily. There's a strive for perfectionism in Virgo that is sometimes really unhealthy, where like the inner critic gets really loud of like, I need to get better. I need to be the best. I need to do this in this next level way. And I'm totally pro a certain amount of that in the sense that it can be a really good catalyst for accomplishing goals. I mean, there's a reason why we have people in the world who are amazing at what they do. And I think a lot of it is because there's a strive to be the best. And I don't like to knock that because I think I'm working a lot on trying to dismantle that in myself. I think that there's also people do amazing things with that kind of determination and drive, right? And so I think there's a balance in honoring where you're at while not losing like some of that momentum to be really good at what you do and making sure that it's not like something that turns into you beating yourself up, like how do you continue to be pushing yourself towards being something great while also not beating yourself up if you don't get there in the time that you want to. I think there's a balance. It's hard sometimes though when I see documentaries of people that I really admire and they're like, well, I was really hard on myself. I made sure that I did it, you know. Like, should I be hard on myself again? Maybe a little bit. I think that there's certain emotions that can be good catalysts, but we also need to be mindful as to whether or not it's really helping or if it's, you know, damaging us. So I think that's something to kind of just think about for Virgo. You know, I feel like my Virgo mom really instilled in me the need to have a clean house. And there was a period where I went through, like, I remember it affected me psychologically in a really negative way, where if my house was messy, instead of me just having this very practical like mindset about it, where I'm like, my house needs to be clean, so I'm going to clean it, I would go into this punishment in my head of like, you're such a loser that your house is messy, like you can't get it together, you know. I would kind of like abuse myself mentally because I saw having a clean house as like a sense of value. Like it wasn't making me happy. And I had to dismantle all of that and redefine it in myself and make it a new thing that made me happy, so that when my house was messy and I was cleaning it, it wasn't like this, oh, your house got messy, you terrible person, you suck at being an adult, you know, and all those kind of like, you know, finger wavy things. And it was more so like, my house is messy, houses get messy, I can't be on top of every single little thing all the time, every day. And that's normal. That's okay. And I'm going to clean it. When I clean it, I'm going to do the best I can. And I am going to have a clean house, but I'm not going to punish myself for when I don't have time or things get away from me. So that can be kind of a middle ground, right? I personally am really grateful that I grew up with a mom that taught me that having an organized, clean house is a good thing for your mental health. But I also know that it's important that I relax and like not overly stress myself about it either. So that's a good Virgo kind of lesson while Mercury and Mars is passing through this area. Mars is going to enter Libra at the end of the month. So on the 28th, Mars will make its way into Libra, and that's actually going to enter your area of finances at the very end of the month. And Mars here is not necessarily bad, not necessarily good. It kind of depends on you. And so when Mars is here, we tend to experience maybe some conflict financially, like maybe there's expenses that come up that we weren't really expecting to have. And so we find that we're spending money maybe faster towards something that we didn't really want to spend it on. But I feel like with Mars here, sometimes money can also come in. So it's like we're having kind of like this ambitious kind of drive towards accumulating more or more material stability or security. But at the same time, there's problems or conflict that's arising that's also taking that money that we just worked so hard for, and it's all going towards that. And so that's something that I've seen more anecdotally. I mean, maybe there's stuff written about that, but that's definitely something I've seen more with Mars transits through this area, that it's kind of like, oh yeah, you have this ability to be really ambitious and, you know, make money and get what you want. And then but now there's all these things coming up that require you to spend money in ways that you didn't necessarily want to. So I don't know. And, you know, if there's a desire to kind of work more on material security and self-worth stuff, kind of having more of like a sense of value around yourself and what you're, you know, charging for, who, you know, whether it's like your pay rate with an employer you're reflecting on, or if you're self-employed and you're reflecting on how much you charge, like you might be kind of in this position of, you know, needing to kind of rework how you're dealing with finances and reflecting on that, because everything's retro, not everything, but because a lot of things are retrograde in August. It's probably not the best time to raise your rates or ask for a raise or change anything, but it is a good time to start working towards what that would look like and some of the goals that you might have around that, because Mars is going to be in this area for the Virgo horoscope until October. And by the end of September, it'll be a little bit of a better time for you to maybe take some action around the financial part of your life. And you might be required to take action, you know, sooner with Mars entering there, like you might not have a choice. Venus is retrograde for the entire month of August in the sign of Leo. And the area that that's hitting for the Virgo horoscope is the area that has to do with the subconscious, the past in terms of our karmic soul evolution. and also our spiritual world and things that kind of live more in that subconscious hidden part of ourselves. And Venus here, there's a huge opportunity for healing things from the past that feel karmic. There's also a large ability to do deep spiritual work around identity and creative expression, self-expression. In the sign of Leo, it's kind of a lot about our relationship to how we express ourselves and our inner child. What brings us joy? How do we cultivate joy? What connects us to maybe that soul sense of self with where it's hitting? And Venus retrograde also, you know, for everybody has an emphasis on our relationships with other people, especially romantic partners. And so if there's past trauma or past memories from the, you know, from a time that are coming up for us right now that we feel like we're needing to work on, that's something that you can also, I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought as I'm saying this, but those are things that might come up for you during the Venus retrograde that you can also work on. Venus is going to be retrograde until the beginning of September, and then it'll station direct. So we have Venus in Leo for a very long time. Venus is going to be in Leo until October. And so there's a really good opportunity here for you to do a lot of deep inner work around those themes and healing through that. You might not feel the clouds lifting or the healing happening more until the end of September, but it's good for you in August to kind of be in a place of, you know, watching what memories come in for you from the past and what your relationship is to them. And if it's positive, reflecting on that. If it's negative, reflecting on that, reflecting on where you might need to, you know, sometimes like memories from the past will come up and it'll make you feel maybe kind of funky, and you realize that there's maybe some unresolved stuff that you didn't really know you were feeling. That's stuff that could be happening during this retrograde for you, and it's positive for you to lean into it a little bit and just kind of see if there's more internal work that needs to be done around it. So I'm just going to talk about the other moons that we have for the month, and then I'm going to be done. I feel like I talked longer than 10 minutes already, but let's see. So our next moon that we have is a new moon that is happening on August 16th at 23 degrees of Leo. And that's happening in the same area of the chart that I was just talking about when it comes to the subconscious. So new moons are a great time to set intentions, and this new moon passing through the area that has to do with the subconscious and karmic kind of past things. This new moon's a really good time for you to work on healing things from the past that might still be kind of festering below the surface. Also, setting intentions towards things that bring you more joy or a sense of fulfillment from a deep place. You know, if you've been feeling kind of out of alignment or feeling like trying to feel fulfilled is more work for you than it should be, this is a good time to set intentions towards calling in, like telling the universe that you want to call in more things that feel in alignment for you, that bring you joy. The last full moon, this is a special month in that we have 2 full moons this month, which doesn't always happen in August, but we have a full moon on August 30th at 7 degrees of Pisces. And Pisces is the opposite of Virgo. And so it's that Virgo Pisces axis that's highlighted. And for you, it's going to be the identity. So the identity with the self, and then how that is reflected onto relationships, romantic relationships and partnerships, business partnerships. Full moons are a great time to, like I said earlier, when we were talking about the Aquarius full moon, it illuminates wherever it is, and it's a great time for manifesting or releasing. And the theme for this full moon for Virgo is relationships. And so if you want to set intentions towards more of the types of relationship that you want to cultivate in your life, whether that's with friends or a romantic partner or business partner, or if there's a relationship you need to let go of, you're ready to move away from, this is a positive day on August 30th to set those intentions. August is a pretty intense month for a lot of us. And so I recommend, if you want more about what's going on, to watch that August astrology forecast. And I will see you all next month. If you liked this video, make sure to hit the like and the subscribe. Let me know in the comments. And I wish you the best August. Happy birthday to the August Virgos.